Item 3.3, this is to adopt the Ellis County budget for fiscal year 2016-2017 pursuant to Local Government Code Section 111.008. And we do have some public participation forms regarding item 3.3. There's 4 forms. Cindy, do we have any others, or is this it? Okay. All right, then we'll go ahead and open up item 3.3 for public comment. Amy Hetke. There's a 3-minute limit, and I'll just explain the rules. It's part of the policy of the Commissioners Court, and our county clerk, Cindy Pauley, will put in your 3 minutes, and the timer will go off, and we ask that everyone abide by the 3-minute rule. So, Cindy, are you ready? All right, Ms. Hedke.
Hi, guys. Yeah, the tax rate is still too high. Taxes are too high anyway. Anyway, I wanted to start off with a quote by John Adams in his dissertation on the canon and feudal law. It says, "Be not intimidated, nor suffer yourselves to be wheedled out of your liberties by any pretense of politeness, delicacy, or decency. These, as they are often used, are but 3 different names for hypocrisy, chicanery, and cowardice." Now, I've been reading a lot of the comments online from a ton of Ellis County residents in response to our judge's salary increase. Personally, a lot of people don't think you're worth the salary, much less the increase. Taxpayers are again getting screwed under your leadership. There was a recent highly publicized political demonstration on the UT campus about the campus carry law. During this protest, college students carried, displayed, and gave away a variety of sex toys and used the hashtag of Cocks Not Glocks in an attempt to highlight what they thought was an absurd law. While I disagree with their stance on that legal issue, they did stumble upon a good premise, and I will repeat the quote. "Be not intimidated, nor suffer yourselves to be wheedled out of your liberties by any pretense of politeness, delicacy, or decency. These, as they are often used, are but 3 different names for hypocrisy, chicanery, and cowardice." Now, Judge Bush, your action of sucking away the lifeblood of the people of Ellis County is not polite, it is not delicate, and it is not decent. Property tax values have skyrocketed, Obamacare is draining families, and most people in Ellis County don't even make more than $50,000 a year, much less get a raise of that amount. As I read the numerous comments about the 3-letter response of WTF that was prevalent on a lot of these comments and stories, they weren't meaning Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I seriously considered purchasing the same sort of item used in the UT Cocks Not Glocks demonstration and using it as a visual in my speech today, but frankly, this county has already cost me enough. So in the spirit of John Adams' appeal to not suffer the false pretense of politeness, decency, or delicateness while the residents of Ellis County are being screwed by your unearned, incompetent greed, I'd like to encourage you to take your insane, expensive pay raise, buy a huge dildo, and in the words of many of the Ellis County residents that are online, go fuck yourself.
Ms. Hedke, you can have a seat or leave the courtroom. If you're going to have crude remarks, you're entitled to your opinion, and you can share that, and we welcome that. But a display of coarseness like that is not appropriate. That's what this is. Dave Vance.
Ready?
Are you ready, Ms. Polly?
I didn't want to have to follow that, but good afternoon, Commissioners and Judge. Thank you for the opportunity to address the court. I come before you today to urge you to either consider delaying voting on the 2016-2017 county budget or amending the budget because it may include the use of funds in violation of state law. On July 12th of this year, this court voted unanimously to use the 9 members of the public for the fiscal year 2016-2017 Salary Grievance Committee, rather than the previous mixture of public officials and members of along with some members of the public, as has done in the past. While reviewing past Commissioners Court meeting minutes and video on the county website, I came across information that leads me to believe the Salary Grievance Committee selected on July 12th was used incorrectly and therefore their decision invalid. Minute order number 287.16 from the July 12th meeting states approving selection of 9 public members for service on the Elected Officials Salary Grievance Committee for fiscal year 2016-2017. Minute order 288.16 confirmed for fiscal year 2016-2017. The motion read by Judge Bush during the same July 12th meeting stated motion to choose the Salary Grievance Committee for fiscal year 2016-2017 through public members is made by Commissioner Robinson. On September 9th, Judge Bush sought a significant pay increase from the Salary Grievance Committee. The committee used was comprised of those 9 members selected on July 12th. I contend that the committee used was the wrong committee because the motion that was passed on July 12th stated specifically fiscal year 2016-2017, which does not officially begin until October 1st. The motion minutes are very clear in stating the fiscal year. Therefore, I believe the committee's decision is invalid. The previous committee should have been used on this because on June 8th of 2015, the committee selected public members and elected officials specifically for fiscal year 2015-2016, which doesn't end until October 1st, or until September 30th of this year. I believe the committee formed for fiscal year, well, I just said that. So a public member serves until the latter of the end of the fiscal year in which a public member is appointed, or the time the committee takes a final vote on the last of the grievances for which the committee held a public hearing. This is important because the fiscal year begins October 1st, and that committee was selected for fiscal year 2016-2017. I'm asking that this court and county legal counsel attempt to rectify this issue to avoid the possibility of criminal violation taking place with the illegal use of public funds. The potential for a violation of abuse of official capacity, a third-degree felony, is real, and if an elected official benefits from the misuse of government property. That decision last Friday was invalid. Thank you. And I do have formal complaints. Would you want me to give them to each of you, or Cindy?
If you'd like to pass them out, you can give them to Ms. Polly, and she'll send them down. Thank you. All right, moving on. Brian Cody.
Here, you want me to pass them?
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Well, I'm here basically to speak on behalf of the 80 to 85 retired county employees. The last COLA raise that we got was in 2008. I didn't see in the budget whether that was included this year or not. I may have overlooked it. So this will make 9 years we have not received anything. And I was just wanting to encourage the commissioners. This may be too late for this year, but next year I would hope that y'all would consider giving us a little bit of a something. And then as far as the $70,000 increase for our county judge, it's beyond me where we can justify or make our county judge one of the 2 highest paid officials in this state with a population of around 170,000. You've got Dallas County we've bumped her up to his salary, and they have got 2.5 million. Denton County has got almost $1 million. Their county judge is only a little over $100,000. I realize y'all probably have no control over what happens now because it's too late, but just want to voice my displeasure, and thank you for listening to me.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
James Parks.
Court, I'm here to strongly support the decision made by 9 residents of Ellis County last week regarding equalizing the county judge's salary in relation to judges in our court of laws, as well as some city managers and some superintendents. My opinion is it does not make there's no logic to a superintendent or a city manager making more than $100,000 per year than our county judge. The demands on the county judge, the executive responsibilities, administrative side of it, I would think the demands would be just as many, just as painful as those related to the city managers and the school superintendents. The $60 million budget of this county, it's much more than most of the school districts, the biggest ones, in the city's budgets. Certainly there are more citizens in the county than there is in an individual school district or a city. I again support this salary increase. I think it was the right thing to do. A wrong was righted, and it's long overdue. Now, let me change gears. Let's go to transparency. Paul Perry, Commissioner, Precinct 3, his salary increase, $4,642. Everybody else, all the other commissioners only get a $2,355 increase. Why? Let's don't fly under the radar. Let's put it out, let the sun shine on it. Transparency. Do we really mean what we say when we talk about being transparent? Why is his salary increase, why is it double the rest of these county commissioners? I'm going to have a seat, and I hope during this budget process, somebody, preferably Mr. Perry, will explain why. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parks.
Well, I'll be happy to answer that question. I gave up the raise the preceding year, and the salary, as agreed, is going to be the same for all of us going forward. The money I gave up, I'll never get back. However, I'm now being set at the same rate as the other commissioners. Right now, I'm being compensated less, Mr. Parks. And you're aware of that because you were here when I signed the affidavit.
Commissioner, you engaged?
I'm sorry?
Mr. Parks, we'll let you speak.
Yeah, he's not my constituent. Thank you.
All right. Those are all the public participation forms. Okay, moving on. Commissioners, the proposed 2016-2017 budget, I think Mike is going to come up. In case there's any question.
Good afternoon. I placed on your desk there the changes that have been made since the proposed budget was filed. I've outlined it with page numbers and explanations of what those changes are. So do you have any questions you want me to address?
My understanding is the Sheriff's Department wishes to take some of their salary under some of the money they haven't spent for salary in the current budget in order to purchase additional vehicles. So they have, my understanding is, have decided not to try to address this in the current budget, but they believe that their vehicle needs are larger than the current budget. But I think they still have time to address that out of current budget rather than next year.
You still have one commissioner's court,
right.
One's currently scheduled commissioner's court that they would be able to process a budget amendment on.
Right.
It's up to the body that sits here as to whether or not they approve that or not.
Well, there are no guarantees. That's just my understanding.
Right.
In case anybody's I've had people ask me about that. Thank you.
Well, perhaps the sheriff's office should share that with the entire court and not just come to one commissioner. If there's an issue to be decided, then it should come before the full body.
Well, I asked that question, and I'm sure they'll come to the full body before the final session.
All right.
Or I'm not sure, but if they wish to, they certainly can. Now, can you explain, because someone will ask, the accounting entry you had to use to equalize the money going out on the engineers versus coming in?
Sure. For the changes in the proposed budget, the change in the bottom line was an increase for a Chambers Creek FRS number 5 project. County is going to provide a match for that federal funding, and in exchange, the county is also going to be paid for the services that the engineer provides on that project. So the net effect will be very close to zero, but for accounting purposes, I have to show the money coming in and the money going out. So you will see the budget increase by approximately 30. I don't want to give away their negotiating position, but you will see the budget increase by that amount. But it's strictly a money in and a money out.
Okay. So no net change?
No, sir. The other changes were strictly shifting funds from one line item to the other.
There was one, though, Mike, that we should point out. The highway patrol budget was increased. We've received a letter from the sergeant there and had been asking that we consider adding a part-time clerical position. They have one full-time position, and based on the increase in the department size of those troopers that are assigned to Ellis County in this region, I thought that was an appropriate request. Once we got that letter, they weren't here to be able to present that themselves during the budget process, so I did include that in the proposed budget, that we assign or make provisions for one part-time clerk for DPS Highway Patrol.
Right, and that did not change the bottom line. It was
Correct.
just a shift within line items. Any more questions?
All right. Any other discussion? Is there a motion to adopt the Ellis County fiscal year 2016-2017 budget?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve is made by Commissioner Grayson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Butler seconds the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
The ayes have it. And Commissioner, since you are voting no, are you also voting to decline your salary 3% or 6% salary increase this year as well?
I listened to a wonderful dialogue given by another commissioner about not engaging in self-punishment, and I'm going to follow his advice.
All right.
This year.
All right, the motion carries. Thank you very much, Mike.